Art with Mr. Posey. Unique characters in Dr. Seuss landscapes.
Oh, hello again. We just read the story, Dr. Seuss's Oh, the Things You Can Think. If you didn't start by watching the video of me reading this book, please scroll up and start there. If you've already watched the video of me reading Oh, the Things You Can Think, you are ready to start your art project for this week. For this week, I would like you to try to use your amazing imagination to create some type of cartoon character. You can do it in the style of Dr. Seuss, you can do it in your own style, and your character can be as weird and unusual as your imagination can make it. The characters we make are all going to be very unique because they come from each of our imaginations, which are all different. I'm going to show you a few examples of some interesting and unique characters that came from my imagination. And then I'm going to choose one of those to make a piece of art that includes the elements of a Dr. Seuss landscape. If you remember from our Dr. Seuss art in class, a Dr. Seuss landscape involves striped hills that curve to give the illusion that that hill is round, as well as some trees that have stripes on them that are curved to give the illusion that those trees are round. We are trying to create the illusion of form, making something look like it's 3D. Here are some of the unique characters I came up with from my imagination and how I used one of those to create a Dr. Seuss landscape with my unique character in it.
This is my sketch paper. You could do the same thing in a sketchbook, but basically it's a place for me to just get some ideas out of my brain onto the paper. As I'm drawing my characters, I'm trying to just think of some interesting and creative things and different ways that I can make a character for my art. I drew this long squiggly line that looked like a tail, so I'll make it the tail of this little creature. As I go, I'm adding unique details, making sure everything has its own personality and some things about it that are different from other characters that you've seen. Maybe I'll try one from just a circle. This guy has a little headband and a smile, and then he'll need some arms and legs. Little details like stripes for the socks or laces on the shoes can really add a nice touch. I want to make him holding something. I was going to make it a briefcase, but it looked more like a boombox, so now he has a little boombox. Up here I'll try to start with a triangle. I was thinking about making a triangle-shaped head, but then my idea changed and I decided that triangle would be a hat on this little guy. I'll give him a little body and some details. A little picture on the hat could be a nice touch. I'm going to draw a really random shape and see if I can find a picture in it. Maybe if I connect this. This could be the face over here with an eye, a nose hole, and a mouth, and some legs on the bottom. I wonder what this spiky shape on the top looks like. Looks like a little chair, so I'll put a little person in the chair. Its hands up in the air, like it's riding on the back of this other creature. You could base your character on an animal. Like I'll make a little tiger kid over here. He has a body more like a person, but the head of a tiger. And if he's a tiger, of course he's going to have a striped shirt. Maybe I can make someone really tall and stretched out. All of the body parts are really skinny and long. Just one random idea that I had from my imagination. I can do some details like little hair. Maybe I'll try to make a 3D cube with a little face on it. If you want to make a cube, make a square, then diagonal lines coming from the corners, and then lines to connect them. I could keep going to create as many unique characters as I want, but eventually I'm going to choose one of these characters to be the main subject in my piece piece of art. So I chose this one down in the corner. I thought it was the most interesting. And as I redraw it, I can change some things. I can make the nostril look a little better and clean up some of the details that I don't really like too much about the sketch. I can change the shape of the eye, make a shape for the eyebrow that I can color, and a nice smile. Since this character has another character riding on its back, I'm going to make it more like a cow or a horse shape, with some legs coming out of the bottom. Since this is my imagination world, my animal isn't going to have 4 legs, it's going to have 6 legs. And each leg has some little toes at the bottom. Since this character has 6 legs, maybe it should have 6 arms. That means that I'm going to see 3 arms on this side, and we'll know that there's 3 other arms on the other side. When I draw my chair, I'm going to make it look a little more like a chair, so people looking at my art can understand what they're looking at and what they're seeing. My character in the chair, I'm fixing the hand from my sketch. That's a great thing about doing a sketch versus you can change things when you do your actual piece of art. And maybe I want to put him in a little space helmet instead. I don't really know if I love how that visor looks. Maybe I can change it. I don't love it, but I'll change it later. Another little leg sticking out here would be nice. And some other small details. Now I'll go around my picture and look for things that I can add or things I might have forgotten. Perhaps a pattern on the lower creature's clothing, like dots, an ear, and there we go. My unique character from my imagination. Yours is going to be a lot different. Just imagine something interesting, unusual, and unique. Now for the landscape. I'll start with a hill under my creature. Notice it goes behind my creature, and then as I make my stripes, each line will have a curve to it, and this will give the illusion that I have a curved hill. Sometimes our curved stripes will go behind something, and we have to figure out where it would come out the other side, like behind the feet there. There's my big hill in front. I'll do a tree here. The top of the tree can be anything I want it to be, but I'll do a bumpy shape for this one. To make the tree look three-dimensional or round, I'm going to give it stripes that are also curved. Each one is like a little smile. Now that tree looks round and 3D. Behind that tree, I'll do a hill off in the distance, thinking where it would come out behind the tree. And then when I do my curved stripes, I'm going to make them skinnier or closer together because they're farther away. In the reality of this world, those stripes are the same size as the ones on the front hill and only look smaller because they're farther away. This hill is even farther, so the stripes are very thin and close together. One more tree in this little spot might be nice, and I'll give this one a spiky shape for the top. And those curved lines so it looks round. As a last touch, a couple of clouds in the sky, and I have my drawing. This is my unique character in my Dr. Seuss landscape. For this type of art, I like to go over my lines with a marker. I'm using a black Sharpie, but any thin black pen or marker would work. I carefully go over each line so I can see my image much better, and it will be easier to color later. I can also change things like that helmet that I didn't really like. At this point, I can add color to my art in any way that I'd like to. For my piece of art, I'm going to use my Crayola markers. I like how bright and smooth they are. And I Bought a couple of new packs recently, so they still work really nicely. When you do your hills, try to do a pattern of what we would call alternating colors. That means each hill will have two colors, and those colors will go back and forth, back and forth. I always start by coloring all of one color first, and leaving every other stripe white, and then going back and filling in the second color next. It saves a little time because you don't have to keep switching markers. Since all three hills are part of the same world, I'm going to make them all the same two colors. You could make each hill a different color if you wanted to. On my tree, I'm going to do the same thing. Choose two colors and do alternating stripes. And then I'll fill in the top of my trees with a nice bright bluish green. There really aren't any rules for which colors I choose. That's part of using my imagination also, imagining what colors things would be. Like his pink hair. I chose red here because it stands out against the other colors of my hill. That's why I didn't choose a purple or a green, because it would blend a little too much into the background, and I really wanted my character to pop out in the center. Some bright colors for my little astronaut person, and some gray clouds. And for this piece of art, I'm going to leave my sky white, but you could color it. There's my unique character in a Dr. Seuss landscape.
So remember, your unique character shouldn't be just like mine. It should come from your own imagination. These characters can be almost anything. The weirder, the better. Create your character right in the center of your page, and then around it, create a Dr. Seuss landscape that involves rolling curved striped hills and a couple rounded striped trees. I'm so excited to see your Dr. Seuss art. I hope you're having a fantastic week, and I will talk to you very soon. Go Colts!